1st and 13th place. Only 3.5 games separating the way. Reese Davis and Jim Calhoun here. Jim, you know you're going to have some dramatics when these two teams play. Last two meetings, you think about what happened here last year. Indiana was down double digits and then scored 4 touchdowns in a row. It was a 28-0 run when it went into the second half. Michigan returned the favor with a game-winning 3 in the Big Ten tournament, which pretty much lifted the Wolverines into the field, into the NCAA tournament. So what do you expect to see between two gifted offensive teams tonight?
Well, unpredictable. You know, what do I expect to see? I don't know. I don't know in the sense you've got two really good offensive teams. One who really guards the ball, Michigan, the other who really rebounds the ball. It's going to be a who imposes who will. Both teams really want to score. Both want to go downhill. Both want to put a lot of points, each with more points. But whoever rebounds well, in this case, Michigan, who doesn't as much, in Indiana, taking care of the basketball, it's going to be the buzzer beater at the end.
Well, I hope so.
Really,
I go for a buzzer beater at the end. Getting ready to tip this thing off. DJ Wilson from Michigan will jump against Thomas Bryant. By the way, the Hoosiers, who've had to deal with all kinds of injuries this year, we are expecting to see Juwan Morgan play after missing a couple of games with a foot injury. Not starting tonight, but we do expect to see him at some point. At least that was the plan during shoot-around this morning. Michigan defense has struggled this year. This Indiana team leads the Big Ten in field goal percentage, and Michigan is dead last in field goal defense. So intensity from the men in white will be a question tonight, and already they forced the Hoosiers to take the shot clock down to 5.
Well, that's what they're going to give up, Reese. They're going to give up a 3, it looks like, contested 3, and jam the middle. We talked about building that wall from the foul line down. That's what they did the first possession.
That first shot came from Zach McRoberts. McRoberts is a walk-on transfer from Vermont. We'll tell his story over the course of the night as Mo Wagner puts up his first shot that leaves it short.
Well, how about that? 2 3-pointers to start. That's a remarkable. But that's how they play.
Well, McRoberts only shot that last one for Indiana because he had to. He's a glue guy, a scrappy guy, and he's been a good component for Tom Crean's team starting for the 3rd time tonight.
By the way, one thing I didn't mention, we don't consider Michigan, neither does John Beilein, a good team, but not a physical team. And see where that ball went? And that's what I was just getting to. If you can beat them up in the middle with someone like Thomas Bryant, your job's going to be easier.
Bryant averaging about 12 points per game.
But he's the most physical player of the 10 guys out here.
Michigan wants to see if Bryant can move his feet out there against Wilson, who's the guy who can play inside now.
And that's the mismatch. Your guy's tough inside, my guy's better outside.
One of the greatest names in college basketball, Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman, with the first one, and the follow is there for Wagner.
Well, he's getting better every minute, 6'11", long arms. And last year kind of struggled adjusting to the game. He adjusted very well on that play. Here's a push that you're going to see from Michigan all the time.
Zach Irvin swatted away. McRoberts with the block. Had a little end-to-end action in the first couple of minutes here. Irvin trying to take it. McRoberts coming from the weak side and swatting it out of bounds. 24 on the shot clock, which some would say should be the number that's on the shot clock as soon as you start the possession, but I digress. We won't start arguing that just
yet.
No,
not yet. But you know, I'm not the only guy in the building who thinks both teams are going to have to dig in defensively. Both teams know they can score. The key is, can both teams stop?
There's Wagner again. He had Josh Newkirk on him, and Newkirk was giving up nearly a foot in height, and Wagner took him right to the bucket.
You know, when Wagner starts doing that, that's a different Michigan team. They have an inside game, which normally they don't have.
And see the way Wagner has improved. The kid out of Germany, he's got 4 points, all coming on offensive rebounds, which typically is Indiana's strong suit. And the ball is knocked away, and Michigan will go the other way.
You know, he scored over a small man, Reese, but he could have scored over anybody in that play. I mean, he spun to his left. He made a right-hand shot. I mean, he's really looked quick in there.
Really polite, impressive young man. He stopped by to say hello before it started.
Well, Niels Giffey, one of my former players at UConn, who played on a 2011 championship team from Berlin, played for the same junior team as him. Nice kid, you're right.
Yeah, Wagner's really increased that scoring average from about 3 to nearly 12 as Wilson goes strong. Another tip in, and there it is again. And what is this team we're seeing with Michigan working on the offensive glass, Jim? That's not what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. When you said it, what are you going to predict? I said nothing. I can't predict.
Bryant into the lane, misses it. He's working the offensive window. And let's see who touched it last. It's off Indiana. It'll be a Michigan ball.
You know, if someone said, how do you get rebounds? You go after them. And really, I mean, they're long. This is a very long Michigan team. They get up on the rim, they get an opportunity to do that. What's going to happen? Indiana's going to have to be more physical, boxing them out.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, Jim, Michigan went to Illinois. You see Derek Walton Jr. take his first shot of the night and make it. They went to Illinois, and after the game, the Illinois players referred to Michigan as a white-collar team. When Illinois came back here, Michigan really got after them defensively, and we're seeing some more of that intensity tonight that they're trying to build into their identity. Not really reflected in the stats yet. We're starting to see it in attitude, at least in the opening moments of this game.
Well, there's reasons we won game, our offense. There's reasons we lost game. Maybe we didn't think we were going to lose, or maybe we shouldn't have lost. And that's got a lot to do with playing defense. I mean, and when they are physical with their length, now they're not built physical. It's not a big team, but it's a long team. They can get on the rim. They certainly can get on the rim.
That was James Blackman, who's had himself quite a week. He had the game-winning 3 at Penn State and then dropped 33 on Michigan State Saturday.
Well, you know, James Blackman, injured as we know last year, highly recruited kid. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, I'm going to say it right out. I mean,
and a steal and a bucket. And with the way Wagner has started, I think the only thing you can say is, Achtung, baby, jawohl.
Jawohl is right.
Wagner has been active. Blackman just called for the foul, and Michigan is out of the gates with a 10-4 lead on Indiana. The Hoosiers having won 3 in a row for the first time this calendar year. And anytime you go on the road in a charged environment, rivalry game, you got to weather the storm in the early moments of the game.
No question. In every place we see it, on the Big Ten particularly. But I mean, this is just a really nice move. Goes to the left hand again, and you know he's asserting himself. When they're in their pregame, I guarantee you, if that 6'5" kid plays you, you got a mismatch. And I know that sounds simple, but it really is true sometimes. You know, not everybody walks around with an ego bigger than this room. You know what I'm saying? And you got to tell them.
Covered over the long term from injuries, and certainly wish the best to OG, who's an engaging guy.
You can't coach that.
Yeah.
You can't coach injuries. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to put things in there. I mean, both teams, you know, I always say, whoever we bring to the dance, that's who we're going to dance with. And so right now, they miss their teammate. But this is who's playing the game tonight.
Ball tipped out, and Michigan winds up with yet another chance.
I believe that's one of 18 tips, because we said before, those are the things that help win games.
Roberts knocks it away from Wagner.
Trying to match him on the outside with his quickness size-wise of getting beat on the inside.
Irvin knocks it down.
Life is good in Michigan tonight. Life is good. I tell you what, I love the enthusiasm they're playing.
Wolverines have now scored on 7 straight trips as Juwan Morgan gets set to check in for Indiana. Robert Johnson in front of the rim. Wilson fighting for the ball. Newkirk tried to save it, but it'll go to Michigan.
We were talking with John this afternoon, right before the game, actually, a couple hours. But he said, we've got to get Wilson. We need Wagner. We need everybody around the basket. Guess what? Everybody's around the basket rebounding.
There is John Beilein.
Doing what he does best. As good as you're going to see.
Wolverines trying to score for their 8th straight trip. Welcome to Ann Arbor, and you've seen a whole lot of that. DJ Wilson knocking down the shot as Michigan has now scored on its last 8 possessions. They have jumped to a 16-4 lead over Indiana. Reese Davis and Jim Calhoun, glad to have you with us tonight in Chrysler Arena. Maze Rage has had plenty to cheer about, and that guy who just knocked it out of bounds, Mo Wagner, a big 6'11" kid from Germany, has had a terrific start. Wagner has already put up 8 points, hitting 4 or 5 shots.
Well, he's had a great start. You know, we're not going to put his number up above yet, but I'll tell you what, I think what they brought, though, the ingredients that Michigan needs tonight to win. Now, you still have, you know, 28 minutes to go, but if they can play like this is a different Michigan team than both of you and I have seen. I mean, not that they have the energy, but they're doing the physical aspects of the game which they need to do. And by the way, when John Beeline grabs an X and O, he can X and O with
shots from everywhere. They scored the last 25 points of the first half, completed a 28-0 run. They put the game away, but so far, it's been Michigan off to the hot start again. They've hit their last 5 shots, and they're up by a dozen as Indiana.
And what I like is how they're doing it. They're not doing just the jump shots. They're doing it because they're really working. I would be surprised if it, well, shot clock. Otherwise, I'd be surprised if they don't try to go inside.
Johnson gets it in the corner.
Very good recovery, by the way. And very good recovery.
Devontae Green lost track of the shot clock, and now as Tom Crean looks for a little spark, he's going to get Curtis Jones into the game, and Green's going to have a seat.
Hard hedge on the pick and roll, but guess what? It was Wagner who slipped back to the middle to cover the post, Bryant. Stopped the pass from being thrown in the post. Michigan ball.
Indiana on its first 3-game winning streak of this calendar year. Michigan's kind of been up and down, coming off a home victory against Illinois. Really important part of the schedule for both teams is Wagner's inside, and he left it on the front of the rim.
And that's where the physicality, just a small bump, no foul, but he's got to try to finish that. He's done a lot already, but that's a play he can finish.
You know, Jim, including this game, 4 of Michigan's next 5 coming against Indiana or Michigan State. They've got a pair against Indiana, a pair against Michigan State, and there's another turnover.
And terrific pass ahead.
Walton ahead of the field.
Terrific pass ahead. I love what Wilson did when he got the ball. Head up, look ahead, 2 points. Keep your head up when you get the ball. I think they're going back inside.
You see the points off turnovers. Michigan has been able to do that. And here's that look ahead you were talking about, Jim.
Well, you've got to in basketball. I don't know why you catch the ball and look down. Everything's in front of you, especially when you're going the other way. I love that pass. I love the look, and I love the completion.
Michigan has only made 1 3-pointer tonight. They score typically about 37% of their points from 3. They've been much more aggressive in the early going tonight.
The attitude's aggressive. You can feel it right here, courtside. You can feel they've come out to play hard.
Morgan puts up the long 3 and rolls it in. Juwan Morgan.
By the way, nice touch on that. You saw the spin, stay inside the rim. I used to be saying all shoes, spin it, stay inside the rim.
Morgan's been shooting it much better, but the 3-point percentage hadn't been great, so don't get him to a good start. Duncan Robinson, number 22, into the game for Michigan. He's an excellent 3-point shooter. As Walton on the pull-up.
Well, they get a little bit of room, after scoring early. They've got actually Indiana sagging down, walling up a little bit, which is allowing that jump shot from the foul line, but typically to be open.
Walton's hit all 3 of his shots in the early going. Shot clock again, inside 10.
This is a great sign for Michigan.
Long shot from the outside by Jones, no good. Wilson has it. Walton's going to have a chance to push. Good job stopping the ball by Curtis Jones. But he can't stay in front of Walton for long, and Walton goes to the bucket and draws the foul.
This is not the Michigan team, as I said before. They're attacking, not shooting just 3s. They're doing a terrific job. Michigan's on the right track.
Boards Indiana leads the Big Ten, 6th in the country in rebound margin, and right now, Michigan is out rebounding them 9-2. Michigan does not have, or has not allowed a single point in the paint to the Hoosiers so far.
And that's remarkable because that's actually been one of the big weaknesses all season long. So, once again, as I said, game start, game's finished, a lot of things happen in between. But if I'm a coach, I'm really encouraged by how we're approaching the game. We aren't winning because we're making 6, 7 threes in a row, which is what we can do. In turn, we're making the tough hustle play. By the way, Tom Crean's not going to sit there very long. He doesn't sit during games, as you well know. I know the feeling.
No, he doesn't.
He does not. And he's going to find a body, a player. I mean, Brian hasn't been back in the game. I mean, he's looking for an answer right now. That's the guy that might think of.
That was a lot of contact on that shot, and Blackman still got it to go.
Yeah, you know, as I said before, he's a terrific player. Is he going to become a star in this league? Right now, he's one of the better players. But he's got a chance to be a star because he can really score.
Tom's been running guys in and out. Not that that's terribly unusual. Indiana plays a lot of guys. Ron Davis on defense there. Blackman went for the steal. Wilson knocks it down.
When you say you're feeling it, they're feeling it too a little bit. That's a terrific move for a 6'10" guy. That's a good move for anybody.
He's really starting to come into his own offensively as Morgan finds some space on him, and then Wilson swats it out of there. Shot clock does not reset, and Michigan takes it away. Zach Irvin on the push. Duncan Robinson, that's his spot.
Great call, Reese. You saw it coming.
(26-9). Big Blue. If I might borrow from the words of a favorite son around here, who's got it better than us?
Nobody. I mean, we're watching terrific basketball. I mean, and we're watching a team, at least in the first 10 minutes of this game, be something that, quite frankly, they haven't been this year. And it's a positive thing. And by the way, the answer to that, pound them inside, pound them inside. They did that in the first play.
Deron Davis, the big freshman from Aurora, Colorado, gets a bucket for Crean's team.
And I can guarantee you he's big. He's a big young man, 250.
Mark Donnell is checked into the game, number 34 for the Wolverines. He was a starter last year. I tell you, life is good. I got Indiana, Michigan tonight, Kansas and Kentucky this weekend for game day.
You know, you keep bragging like that.
You've got a pretty good life here.
Yeah, I'm not arguing at all. This is fun.
Bad.
This is fun.
Nice Wilson with the rejection.
Boy, the big kids are playing great.
Did it from the right, did it from the left. Duncan Robinson. Newkirk quickly for the bucket.
I told you this is going to be a high-scoring game. I didn't realize at first it's on one end, but it's a long, long way to go. We do know Indiana always plays downhill. They're going to try to score in every possession. Every team is, but their team wants to attack you.
Wolverines 12 with their first 18. Another three on the way, buried by Mark Donnell.
I'll tell you, the building's exciting, as I am. And you, actually.
Oh, this is fun. I like to see it go in the bucket. He can knock it in, too. Thomas Bryant.
So I bring my 6'10", 250 to shoot the three-pointer. That's a good thing.
Is that fair?
No, it's not. But he's a talented kid. You know, he's a kid, I think, in 1 year, I've seen his whole approach to the game change. He really is. He's not so hard on himself, which is a great thing.
Bryant with his play in the NCAA tournament last year, the Indiana Sweet 16 run. Opened a lot of eyes, coming back for a second year as Blackman pushes it into the front court. Blackman by the freshman, Xavier Simpson, who is the point guard of the future and is being mentored by Derek Walton right now. Simpson is called for the foul. Well, Michigan is known for the three ball. They can do it in transition. Robinson has hit a couple of them so far. And then Donnell gets into the act, and the Wolverines doubling up the Hoosiers. Stayed that way.
Yeah, they have. The big thing is that they're going to go back inside, which they're starting to do a little more consistently, get the ball to Bryant, and obviously get the Blackman. The other thing they've got to do, we haven't said it, you can't be giving up 65%. You're going to have to chase them off the line and protect the paint much better. There's too many drives to the rim. Atypical, by the way, of Michigan.
Well, Michigan has been active and intense. That's easy, me and bounce play. And you saw that was working on that play and shoot around.
I'm laughing at you, Reese, because the two of us watched the 17 plays that Tom put in. Nobody gets more of a 90-minute practice than Tom Crean. I don't care who the coach is. I mean, every single detail. He's a terrific coach, and there can't be many more X and O guys than him. But you and I saw the exact same thing at practice of getting Bryant right in that position to feed the pass to him in his left hand and lay it up. He got it to his left hand and laid it to his right. Yep. I mean, it's funny because you and I have great respect for Tom Freeman, knowing as he worked as hard as any coach I've ever been around. But he is a detail guy, which is a great thing. Your team should play the details.
That travel was Michigan's first turnover. They don't turn it over much. Talked about this year, that's how they get extra possessions. Bryant's going to work now, trying to get Indiana back in. 2 buckets in a row for Thomas Bryant.
Yeah, they're going to have to get him, we call it, run it out of the post. There's no way he can get that deep. You want him 2 or 3 feet up the lane so he doesn't get that shot that easy. That's too easy a shot.
I think, in fact, he's had 3 straight. He's on a Bryant 6-0 run. Indiana scored the last 7 to slice his lead down to 12. Walton, for 3.
That covers a lot of sins. You know, we didn't run him out of the post, but we made a 3.
Indiana trying to enter on the other end, and
watch
they
out.
do. How about Devontae Green? Devontae Green shooting a little better than 38% from behind the arc. Shows why. Hey, look, Indiana's certainly not playing poorly on offense.
No,
Michigan's been scorching. Here's Duncan again.
That one I didn't like. That one we could get later. I didn't think they quite need. He's been shooting very well. I understand that.
Donnell with the block.
And this is Thomas Bryant, and what he's doing, we call it carving space out. Watch what he does with his body. Left elbow, somewhere around the neck, but pushing the man away, getting a good drop step here. Okay, big power bump. Uses that left shoulder, and just kind of clears him out of the way. And all honesty, the biggest expression in the post defense, ball pressure so the ball can't get in there, and then do your work early. Don't let him get in that low post where you have to turn around. Don't make it a 4-foot shot, make it an 8-foot shot. Get your man out of the post. They're going back in there, trying to go back in there.
Shot clock down to 8. Green got caught in the air with nothing to do and turned it over. Abdur-Rahman on push. Kicks it out to Wilson. Wilson finds Wagner underneath and one.
How unselfish and with great skill. You know, you got to have a basketball IQ to see that. He started looking at the rim. I thought he was going to shoot and makes a terrific pass to Wagner. Looks like it could be a 3-point play. Terrific play.
Green turned it over and then he called the foul on him as well. Totally outsized. And Michigan has now outscored Indiana 13-2 in points off turnovers.
And by the way, they're up to 7 turnovers for for Indiana right now. And I told you, they can rebound all they want, but they got to hold on to the ball and they get it. You need possessions. Not many things have gone wrong for Michigan. That was one of the first ones that did in this foul shot. Just staying man-to-man, both teams.
14-point lead. You know, one thing, the man-to-man defense, we were talking to John Beilein for a long time. Staple of a Beilein team was playing the 1-3-1, but you don't see it quite as much anymore as you used to.
No, because 3-point shooters in a team like Indiana, they're one of the, they're not Michigan quite 3-point shooting wise, but they're still one of the better ones, certainly in the Big Ten, probably one of the top 30 or 40 in the country.
Robert Johnson went to the bucket and got the layup for the Hoosiers. Newkirk harassing Robinson.
Well, I mean, obviously the defense now, anybody that's going in is being told. You'll stay on the floor if you tighten up.
Robinson kicks it to the corner. Abdur-Rahman for 3.
I don't know this, but I wonder how many baskets have assisted them. I mean, they're really passing the ball, finding open teammates.
We take a peek at this.
We can. We have that ability.
Yeah,
we have that ability.
And another turnover for the Hoosiers. And Jim, to answer your question, 6 assists already for the Wolverines tonight on 16 buckets.
And a couple have been up and away, and some have been second chance points, and didn't have a chance to get an assist.
7th turnover is Zach McRoberts returns for Indiana.
By the way, there's been 3 fouls committed in this game. I mean, it's just going up and down playing basketball. But actually, both teams are really competing. It's just that both teams are putting the ball in basket, obviously, particularly Michigan.
Great look and one. What a tremendous pass and a great finish from Walton. Robinson, not just a shooter. That was a great look.
He looked the defensive man off. When he looks left, there's a little half a ball fake. He looks the man off in a one-hand bounce pass, and he led him to the basket. People don't see that. He led him to the basket at least. That's a terrific pass, as you said.
For your guy, Tom Brady, and I know you're all nervous about this.
I am.
You know what that is? That's throwing a guy open. That's passing a guy open.
Well, he threw it in the window, and that's exactly what it is. There's a window after the defensive end. He hit him perfectly.
Speaking of perfection, Walton has been from the floor 5 of 5. He's got 13 points, hasn't turned the ball over, and Michigan has pushed that lead out to 18. Newkirk.
By the way, nice strong finish. Nice strong finish to the rim. And they're going to need more of that. They're going to need some, as we say, hard-earned buckets sometime.
Pretty good ratio for the Wolverines. 17 buckets, 1 turnover. There goes Mo.
Great read. When Bryant came up at him, he felt it. When Bryant laid the ball up, he read it perfectly. Didn't pull up for the jump shot. Terrific move.
Mo Wagner has already exceeded his season average. He's got a dozen.
He told me his family was watching from Berlin. They're seeing for the show. It's a good time to tune in. Nice playing, terrific, obviously. Michigan's playing terrific. And I think both of us would agree. There's I call it a bodyguard, where he knocks you back. And honestly, it's part of the game.
Newkirk has been trying to be aggressive on the offensive end. He's made the last 2 buckets on very similar type plays.
And they need that.
A little change in defense here from Indiana. Abdur-Rahman has it blocked by Bryant.
Yeah, 2-3 zone, and it's going to be tough to drive the ball. They're much better off looking for a more open shot. Looks like
Blackman pulls out, and he's hurt himself.
Yeah, he knew he was hurt. He might have just twisted, I hope.
Yeah, certainly.
I don't, the way things go with these kids, you got to be very careful.
Always many injury problems that the Hoosiers have had. Blackman having a great season coming off an injury. We hope he just got a little tweak. Michigan up big. In his step, he's had a really, really terrific year coming off knee surgery last year that cost him much of the season. At 33 in the Hoosiers' impressive victory against Michigan State last Saturday. Twice this year has been the Big Ten Player of the Week.
He's the 4th leading scorer in the league. And after you've had surgery, by the way, and you feel a tweak, you're a little more careful than normal. You don't want to go through that again.
Johnson on the pull-up. Walton, nothing but white shirts around the rim.
Really rebounding. It's 10-10 or 10-11 now, but regardless, they're taking care of the ball very well on the glass, which they need to do. The one thing you don't want to do right now, with 2:30 to go in the first half, you don't want to slow down, and they didn't. Just as I spoke, the answer to everything is a long 3-pointer.
Duncan Robinson.
He can really shoot it.
He's hit another one. Michigan is 7 of 10 from behind the arc. You see Robinson say a little something to the freshman Deron Davis, sort of, you better come on out here a little quicker. I'm going to do something about it. A 19-point lead on a blistering shooting display from the Wolverines. Robinson's hit 3 3-pointers in the first half.
And we kind of know where Indiana's thinking about going. And I think inside, they just shot Thomas Bryant off the bench.
Newkirk. The shot clock approaching 10. Here's Johnson for 3, and Indiana needed that one.
Boy, that's a terrific shot in the sense that I call that a leg shot. He elevated, got space, and shoot that shot.
And he's shooting better than 50% from behind the arc here in Big Ten play this year.
And tonight, he's helped them stay within reach right now. Reach is a funny word at this particular point, but we have so much to go. They certainly are within reach.
Indiana going to show a little zone.
Yep.
There's Robinson. Bryant fighting for the rebound. Johnson saves it. Wagner, terrific play, and Wilson flushes it.
The 2 bigs, we said, Wilson and Wagner have been terrific. Absolutely terrific. Terrific hustle play. Great finish.
As we come down to a minute and a half, that last play, Jim, I didn't think Indiana failed to hustle. Sometimes it's just one of those halves. Yep. They were trying to communicate and make sure they handled the ball, and it just got away from them. And Michigan, as they've been all night, just seemed to be in the right spot. You see Bryant's fighting for it, and Johnson tries to save it, and it just out of Newkirk's reach, and Wilson flushes
and that happens. Yeah. He's seeing someone tonight. That team, it's right now a tornado. I mean, they are really playing great, and their energy is obviously incredibly high.
Johnson again.
Ooh, boy, I like the way he shoots. I remember Seth Greenberg, a good friend of both of us, said to me when he recruited him a lot of years ago, Virginia Tech, he liked some of the Virginia Tech stories, regardless. And he said that kid could be a pro someday. When he shoots like that kind of body and handle, he may be right.
Hey, I have to take up for Seth. I hear a few UConn stories from time to time, too.
Just occasionally. Why do you think 2 or 3 hours a day of UConn stories a lot?
Wagner with a turnover. Rare one. Blackman on the push. Johnson, he might just fire that one up. He's been a little warm. 5 seconds left now.
If not a wrong guy, that's not a bad foul.
Right.
Cuts it down to 4-3. Try to catch it. Make sure they catch deep.
Robinson gets his first, to your point, Jim. That's only the second team foul against Michigan. They can, if they do it wisely, they can really hinder Indiana's opportunity to get a clean look here. The 15-point lead.
And Indiana, as we both said before, gets the following lot. Not so much tonight.
Not taking a free throw tonight.
You give that pass up, yep.
Now Blackman's going to have to hurry. Abdur-Rahman now let's see what he's got here. They called the foul on Rahman. He grabbed at him, and they're just calling it a common foul on the floor.
Okay, yeah. You get the pass. You didn't need to grab him because you got the pass where you wanted it. Yeah. 75 feet from the basket. Let him throw a half-court shot up there.
Now, 1.3. Have to look and see if this is intentional here. He didn't really. I think that's a good one though. Let that one go as a common foul on the floor. 1.5. Johnson could get a clean look.
Yep.
Left it on the front of the rim.
But they got a good shot off. It's 1.4.
And Michigan hangs half 100 on Indiana in the first half. Shot 67% from the floor. Only turned it over twice and only committed 3 fouls, and a couple of them were all but intentional. That's about as close to a perfect half as you can get, and Michigan turns in 50-35 at the break. Let's go back to the studio now and join Adnan Burke. Adnan, take it away. Perfection is not something to be attained, it's something to strive for. But Michigan came really close to attaining it in the first half. 50-35, the lead over Indiana. Second half about to start here at Chrysler. Reese Davidson, Jim Calhoun. 50 points in the first half, and Michigan assisted on 9 of their 20 field goals.
Well, they really passed the ball. They passed the ball for threes, as we'll see here. They did a great job of getting the ball ahead on the fast break. That's the most open many times you are for a three-pointer. Secondly, they moved the ball very, very well. And early in the game, they were driving to the hoop, which caused the defense to shrink, allowing these nice kick-out passes for 3 points. And I'm not even looking at the passes underneath for dunks or passes ahead for layups. They did a great job passing the ball.
You see some of these stats. Michigan shot 64% from behind the arc. The last time they put 50 on IU and a half was 1998. That game wound up 112-64. Lewis Bullock and Tractor Trailer combining for 48 in that game.
I don't expect that.
Well,
and the thing is, the only thing because I always like to have something to complain about. If I'm John Beilein, how do we give up 60? How do we give up 60%?
That's right. Indiana shot 60% from the floor in the first half, and they're trailing by 15.
And I think we're aware of it. They're staying with that zone now.
Zach Irvin over the top, and that was a brick.
And they got what they wanted.
But no new shot clock. Didn't hit the rim. Walton points it out to Abdur-Rahman.
Of course he does. Of course he does, Reese.
He said, hey, the shot clock's down. You better throw that thing in.
It's one of those nights, Coach.
Abdur-Rahman hits another 3. He's got 7 now, and just like that, the lead goes back to 18. Although I would imagine that at halftime, Green has to say to his guys, well, they can't shoot better than that.
Well, well, you shoot 66%, some good things are going on. This will be interesting down here. Hit the shot, hit the rim.
It might have grazed the rim, but they didn't reset the shot clock. Beilein's not going to complain. It worked out okay.
He made the shot.
Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman knocks in the 3. Bryant strong.
Boy, he's strong when he goes home, isn't he? I was talking to a couple of my friends, scouts from the NBA, here before the game, and they say he legitimately is a pro prospect. When they play him the way he should, inside okay, and physical, because that's what he does exceptionally well.
Fair to say that he's not the most explosive guy in the world. He understands his game. He's a good shooter from the outside, and he uses his body. He doesn't try to go over the top of people. That's not really, it's not what he does.
I always think the best players know what they are, honestly. They don't limit what they are. They know what they are. By the way, another time taking the ball inside, which is what Michigan game plan starting out tonight was. They needed to change up a little bit by taking the ball to the rim.
Juwan Morgan picks up the foul. It's his first. Saturday, the SEC Big 12 Challenge triple header for you on ESPN. West Virginia and Texas A&M at noon Eastern time. That'll follow College Game Day, and then it'll be Florida and Oklahoma Gators in the top 25 out of the SEC, taking on the Sooners, who seem to be starting to play a little bit better than Texas and Georgia at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Longhorns have struggled for much of the season, and Georgia's hit a little bit of a swoon. Dogs need to get it going and enhance that tournament resume. All the games on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. As a couple of free throws puts Michigan back up by 18 in the opening moments here of the second half. Reese Davis and Jim Calhoun, glad to have you with us Thursday night in the Big Ten from Ann Arbor as Morgan has it bounce off his knee and go out of bounds, and the Wolverines have it back.
10 turnovers now. They can't afford to turn the ball over. Now, that was a good physical drive, but possessions were 10 shots more for Michigan in the first half. That can't happen.
And in the first half, too, the Wolverines, who for the season have a negative rebounding margin, they stayed even with Indiana on the board.
Exactly.
And Indiana is one of the best rebounding margin teams in the country.
If you had told John Beeline at 4 o'clock this afternoon he was going to be even with Indiana, he thought he was in pretty good shape. And obviously he is.
Of course, then again, to be fair about it, Michigan made all the shots, so there weren't that many rebound opportunities on that end.
I couldn't grab it, wasn't there. I couldn't grab it, wasn't there, right? Hecker, boy, oh boy. He is really taking the ball hard to the hole.
Josh Newkirk, I was just going to say, Jim.
He and Johnson, you agree, Reese?
Yes.
Have made a big difference. They've been the spark off the bench with Blackman being shaken up a little bit. He's back now and fine.
Newkirk, Johnson, Blackman, a dangerous starting backcourt trio for Indiana. Newkirk now 4 for 4 in the floor tonight. Indiana needs to try to put together a little run. First way to do that is to get a stop. Shot clock inside 4. Wagner spinning back baseline bucket. He's just emptying. He is emptying the bag tonight,
exactly.
Isn't he?
Do you want to see this, Reese?
Yeah. Creative score. That almost had a near Dirk-esque type quality to it.
You know what? That's a great analogy. I hadn't thought of it, but that's actually who you start thinking.
There goes your guy, Johnson.
I like Johnson. Newark have really kept them. You know, once again, it's a long way to go.
He's into double figures with 10.
And he's physical. And that's what my belief is that you need against Michigan. I knew that during that 15 minutes, Tom Crean wasn't going to go to sleep. I mean, his kids came out, I'm sure, with a game plan.
Zach Irvin.
Not necessarily that one. That was a tough shot created by his legs again.
Here comes Newkirk knifing into the paint, and it's blocked away by Wilson. And it'll be Indiana's ball. Hey, let's watch Wagner again. And tell me if you've seen this spin back. Now, he's not as big as Nowitzki. Look at that little leg kick right there.
That may be. Is that the Dallas Mavericks? I don't, you know, honestly, great now again. He's got the long jump shot and he's got the skills. By the way, that was
carried away yet.
Yeah, right. As I said in the first half, the band is not going up quite yet, Coach.
Yeah, that's right. And then he plays a little defense and exhorts the crowd to get behind him as he ties up Thomas Bryant.
I've seen, this is the 4th game now I've seen of Michigan the whole game, and it's the most emotional I've seen Wagner. It really is. He's very emotional, this whole thing. Matter of fact, he and Bryant are having a word. I think they're talking about, sneakers they have on.
That possession arrow stayed with Indiana, so they kept the ball. They had the foul going to the bucket. I think they got Walton on that. It's Walton's first.
As much as you know, I respect the Big Ten, I started to see some stuff which has a little bit of the old Big East, a little chippiness. Like Bryant and Wagner were hitting each other.
There's that out of bounds play, and this time Wagner knocks Bryant to the ground.
Michigan foul is number 13.
The second foul on Wagner. Now, that out-of-bounds play, it's the second time that they've got the ball in that area, but Bryant, I think it was Bryant both times, so far underneath the bucket when they're forcing him underneath the catch, he hasn't been able to do anything with it.
You're going to have to do something, lay across body block on him, but you cannot let him set up 2 or 3 feet from the basket. We suck. Do your work early right now. They've got to make sure that he does not carve out that space, and he has.
Next dead ball will be the first media timeout in the second half.
He gets his face, even though he didn't give it to him, he gets his face back again.
Freddie McSwain, an explosive leaper. McSwain goes and he draws the foul. McSwain will go to the free throw line. Indiana's been a little more aggressive. 3 fouls in the first 4 minutes of this half. They're only having about that many in the first half. We'll show you the shoot-around from this morning. There's a little bit of a clinic going on the side with you 2 guys.
Well, Tom's a good man, a heck of a coach.
Learn a lot hanging around a Hall of Famer like you.
Yeah.
There's Indiana's first free throws of the night.
Amazing.
Freddie McSwain.
And the game has not been without physicality.
Yeah. Have a look at this, Jim. In the last 4 minutes and 8 seconds of game time dating back to the first half, Michigan's committed 6 fouls after committing just 1 in the first 1956. Michigan doesn't foul, but what you're starting to see is because of this big lead, you mentioned it a moment ago, a little chippiness, getting a little more physical here.
We know that Indiana doesn't like it. And you know what? When you said before they have fouls to waste, and I said to you, who's it on? I mean that very honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, coaches never feel you want Wilson, Wagner, any of those kids picking up 2 in the first half to get themselves in trouble.
Well, they only committed 3 in the first half, and a couple of them.
Too high. He's passed so well. Wilson's passed so well. He short-handed that. He short-armed that because he wasn't quite sure how far away. Good look, not a good execution.
Well, he's Mark Donnell, who couldn't handle the hot pass from Wilson. A rare turnover for the Wolverines. Screens turn to McSwain in the game for the first time. We show him driving early, and now foul's going to be called on Newkirk. It's his second.
On that dribble weavers, I was going to wonder when they're going to call this clear out. I've seen it an awful lot of times, and they've kind of let it go, and they almost kind of have to stop it. They don't want the chippiness either. And it was a foul.
Yeah. Michigan handles the Indiana pressure. Wilson thought about it a couple of times. Now, looking at that Indiana zone, Abdur-Rahman's had a good night shooting, and it continues. Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman.
He stayed with that, didn't he? I mean, his confidence. Right now, Michigan's confidence is high. It's crazy. Another turnover.
I think you're starting to see a little frustration from the Hoosiers.
Well, exactly right. And Tom doesn't want. Trust me, Tom Campbell's right now want to go back to the bench and start searching and finding. He wants to get to start knocking this league down with a stable group.
Biggest lead of the night is Michigan's up by 20. Devontae Green, number 11, is on the point of that press.
They're still trying to attack that zone. The matchup's going to allow the ball. Is going to take to the high post, and then you always look opposite corner.
Abdur-Rahman loses the handle. I think he might have traveled. Walton doesn't hit anything, and Johnson's got the rebound. Bryant hit the deck.
Good pass.
McSwain's flying ahead of the field, and Freddie a little too far under the bucket, and then he reaches in and fouls Donnell.
But I love the look. You got to look ahead, throw ahead, and he did. McSwain's got to finish that. I'm sure. I've seen him practice it. They practiced this morning. Angle a little difficult. Just get your legs set. Don't try to hurry. And head up to the rim. His head was down. Find the rim. Find the rim. Find the backboard.
Make layups with your eyes.
You
right?
make layups with your eyes.
Duncan Robinson is checked in for Abdur-Rahman. Duncan was feeling in the first half. Hit 3 3-pointers.
It's a good pass.
Right over the top of the pressure.
Exactly. With the zone, they aren't necessarily attacking anymore. I'm not so sure. It's 50-50. You don't want to take bad shots either.
Wilson from the corner.
Nothing bad about that.
I know this is not an axiom that will hold true for every game, but it's pretty apparent for Michigan tonight, there are no bad shots. They're all going to go in.
That's a great point. You know, you get games like, I said this game's getting chippy. We're going to have 1-1s pretty soon. And by the way, it ended up being a good shot. 3 more passes, he got the same shot he was looking at first. And Bogdan leads in points, rebounds, and cheering. He's doing a heck of a job over there. That's good.
And a little bit of everything tonight.
Everything tonight.
Blackman's been quiet. Michigan's done a nice job on him.
This will be interesting. He's going to bully him down. There it is.
Bryant spinning back baseline. The double comes, and he shuffled the feet. Changed pivot foot. Another turnover for the Hoosiers.
That was about 30 pounds difference in weight, but he did a great job with his legs. He just tried to hold the ground, not try to push it, hold his ground by getting down, flexing his legs to get a good solid base to stop the back down. I thought you were going to see man only because he doesn't want Indiana standing around his own. You can't draw it up any better than this, or maybe you don't have to draw it up some nights. No, that was really, I mean, they hit and go against pressure.
The can of whooping is being applied to Big Red's backside. 25-point lead for Michigan. McSwain, again, frustration around the rim, but Freddie keeps working.
Yeah, if they keep having that, they can chip away at this thing. Once again, that's a big number up there, though.
There are no 25-point buckets. Got to get them
a
little bit at a time, right?
We all wanted one at one time, didn't we? Go ahead.
No doubt. As Tom Crean speaks with Brian Dorsey, explaining to him why
he's trying to explain to help him out. He's a good guy.
It's Saturday night, 6:15 Eastern Time on ESPN. Kansas and Kentucky. This is a headliner in the SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Sonic. Both the Jayhawks and the Wildcats coming off midweek losses on the road. Kansas losing a very good West Virginia team. Kentucky looked a little disjointed in the loss to Tennessee. Game streaming on the ESPN app. Love what Calipari said after the game. Had a chance to go down and perhaps attempt a three-pointer that would have won the game. Didn't get the shot off. And John said after the game, would have been a shame if we'd hit a three and won that game because Tennessee outplayed us. And with a young team like that, he'll take the opportunity to get their attention. Although I imagine just having rock chalk roll into the building will get their attention.
The word that John said, you know, hit a three and we didn't deserve the win. He's not telling you the truth. We didn't deserve the win, but I wish we won. No coach feels, well, we'll take it, and we'll build from that. John and all of us feel the same way. You can say that, you don't feel that.
Johnson knocks it away from Robinson.
This is what they're going to have to do now. You're going to see them up ball pressure. You got Robinson now with Johnson. You got a mismatch here outside on the floor. And he's going to try to pressure that ball out of his hands. They're picking up, which they have to.
Hey, Jim, when's the last time you've seen a game where a team is shooting 58%, is down 24, and
we talked about that before. Yeah. They've been jarring each other. And you used the word 3 or 4 minutes ago. Frustration.
That's the third foul on Bryant.
You know,
I don't think there's a foul, but I don't think Bryant did anything.
And we don't like all that stuff. I do like Michigan standing up a little bit, though, because, I mean, we said coming in, Indiana's a bigger and physical, stronger team. You're going to have to stand up to a bigger, stronger physical team.
You know, I alluded earlier in the game, Jim, to the Illinois game at home. Michigan wore their home blue, or their road blue jerseys at home, I should say, to exemplify. And they wanted the blue-collar effort after Illinois had called them a white-collar team. And Michigan assistant Billy Donlin wrote on the wall with a dry erase marker, "Street Fight." And a couple of the players said, "Hey, coach, you know, that's on the wall, it's not on the board, that's not going to come off." And he said, "No, that's the point."
I know. Yeah.
We want him to play with a little edge.
Don't you ever let them call you.
Yeah.
The guy you just compete against should never call you that. And there's nothing wrong, honestly. There's really nothing wrong with a white collar.
No, of course
My
not.
point being is the idea that they're a pretty team, they play outside, they don't mix it up and rebound. And the best answer to that, they show that you're a blue-collar team. Matter of fact, you're just a good basketball team who plays hard.
Certainly done that through the first 28 minutes tonight.
They have played well.
Indiana hasn't had a field goal in nearly 4 minutes and have turned it over 4 times. Duncan Robinson hits the youngster Jones in the air.
They're denying every pass now as well as should, but they're up trying to ball pressure to get them to take a bad shot. Because as you and I said, we don't know what is a bad shot. Oh, what a good play. Oh, what a good play. I don't know if the ending was as good as we'd like to see, but he got 2 shots out of it.
Creativity from Wagner. Good cut from the freshman Simpson. He'll go to the free throw line. Here is the point guard of the future for Michigan, they believe, Xavier Simpson. Freshman from Lima, Ohio, short on the first free throw. Tonight after X Games Aspen, catch SportsCenter at night with Scott Van Pelt. Tigers first round at Torrey Pines. Latest from the Australian Open. Super Bowl 51 is just around the corner, delivered as only SVP can. SportsCenter at night after the X Games on ESPN. Streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Bryant bullying his way all the way to the rack.
You couldn't have said it better. That's exactly what it was. You look for little small signs, and once again, it's a big lead, no question. But you don't want to be missing foul shots, them coming down the answer to the lead. They're looking for life. Let's not give them any.
Indiana can score quickly. This is a prolific offensive team, averaging more than 84 points a game. Tops in the Big Ten, top 20 in the country. Pretty efficient offensive team in white, too. Duncan Robinson.
You know, I was just going to say, I wanted him to put the ball on the deck to shoot, but he did a nice job of spinning it and getting his shoulders square and looked at the rim.
It's his first 2-point bucket of the night. He's in double figures with 11. Zach McRoberts with the pull-up. And McRoberts, an interesting story, Jim. We were talking about him. He's moved into the starting lineup, started his career at Vermont, and he is Josh McRoberts' brother. Wasn't sure he wanted to play anymore. Transferred back to Indiana as a student. Was just playing some pickup ball to stay in shape, and he called Indiana assistant Tim Buckley. You know, what if I come around the team? And before long, he's turned into a good glue guy for them and given them a lot of valuable contributions.
Where there's a gym, there's players. Where there's a gym, there's players from their team. Before I saw him play as a coach, there's a kid over there that can really play. Nice story. You know, not a kid just reaching to go someplace, leaving Vermont, but going for a particular reason academically, and then ends up playing on a team. Great story.
Foul called on Deron Davis.
I'm sitting here rethinking. I keep seeing a penetrating team off the dribble. I don't normally see this.
Well, they've got a lot of guys capable of doing that.
They do that, but they don't always do it.
That's true.
I mean, you know, you talk about settling for the three. I know when you can shoot it well, it's easy to settle, and I call it the home run ball, and it's great to have. But you can't settle when you can keep attacking and get to the foul line. And you mentioned that may be a factor later.
Walton's had a terrific night. He's exceeded his average. He has done one thing that you hardly ever see from him. He missed a free throw tonight.
I know that.
Right exactly. At 90% on the year, just a shade under it.
When I was going through the stats over the last few days, it's one of the things I said to myself, well, they got a couple guys that can set the line at the end of the game.
Had 3 guys in the starting lineup shooting better than 82%.
Well, I don't think either one of us would have to worry about this being a good shooting team.
No. Wagner goes out to show. Newkirk shoots it over Walton, and Irvin clears it away.
You know, I can't believe right now, and can't believe it's a tough word. More importantly, do you see anybody at this particular point for Indiana trying to get a second chance point? That time, last 4 times, there's been 1 red shirt on there. Nice pass.
They're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country in Michigan.
No question.
Michigan's looked like one of the best passing teams in the country tonight.
And they are. And they have been. I like what they're using for a little more because they're varying their offense.
Davis missed it, and on this trip, Michigan can push the lead to 30.
You're sitting here watching it, occasionally saying something about the game, and you look up and it's almost 30 points.
If Muhammad Ali Abdur Rahman makes the bucket to make it 30, is it a technical knockout? Is somebody throwing the towel here?
I got a feeling you saw that someplace and said, that can't go in. It didn't. I was happy it didn't go in some ways. It wasn't a very good shot. Right to the rim. Boy, does he play harder, huh? No?
Abdur Rahman getting his hand in there and causing trouble. Shot clock at 5. And Blackman created a little space.
The young official over here wasn't quite sure that was. I was, and so was the other official. Dorsey was a very good official. When good players do bad things, they don't sometimes see it.
You know, most coaches would appreciate that ball movement, but I'm not sure this guy. That's Jack Harbaugh, who is Jim Harbaugh's dad and Tom Crean's father-in-law, as you know. Got a chance to visit with Jack today. By the way, as I'm sure most people know, Jim and his wife had a son born a little bit early, John, but Grandpa Jack tells us today that young John has gained a little more weight, up to 5 pounds 7 ounces. Doing well, and we're grateful for that.
Well, congratulations. And can you imagine what turkey dinner Jim Harbaugh, the Harbaughs, and coming? It must be very interesting. He's a strong man, I can tell you that right now.
Sitting beside his daughter, Joni.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Joni is Tom's wife, Jim's sister. Great sports family. How long will it be? You know it won't be long until that baby's drinking whole milk, right?
You got
That's the only kind. Blackman, good look. McSwain.
Good finish, stayed with the shot after missing a few shots.
Well, McSwain got along with Deron Davis.
I love this. You got to attack pressure. I don't care if you score, but give yourself a look when they're all spread out.
I was talking to Crean about some of the depth that he'd have to employ, particularly after the injury to Anunoby, and we've seen Davis, we've seen McSwain tonight. Both of those guys starting to round into form after missing a lot of the summer, finishing up a little academic work. McSwain coming from community college, you see he's got some ups. Not much on the upside for the Hoosiers tonight.
They need some open court. They don't need to get beat up as bad as they will, but I mean, rebounding by West Virginia is incredible.
You see a Baylor team that has been terrific this year. Many believe a Final Four contender. TCU taking on Auburn. What a job Jamie Dixon has done at TCU.
I coached against Jamie Dixon, I think, 7 years, and when he was at Pittsburgh, Jamie Dixon can really coach. And the best thing, he can coach a lot of different ways. He was very slow down at Pittsburgh after Ben took over. Ben Howland did a great job. Made the tournament, I believe, every single year. He'll do a great job at TCU. He's a graduate.
Walton up to 17 points.
Boy,
Robert Johnson, yeah.
I still like him. I almost think he'd take more shots because every shot, look, he's got that good elevation into his jump shot.
He's got a dozen. But boy, let's not understate the job that Michigan has done on James Blackman Jr., third leading scorer in the Big Ten, averaging better than 18 points, has 4 tonight, and it only has 3 field goal attempts.
Well, he hasn't had many shots, right, and they're finding him. They're raking down. Every time he drives, they're sending 2 at him.
Zach Irvin draws the foul on McSwain.
That's the thing, Reese. I told you, I'm being repetitive, obviously, over a 2-hour broadcast. You will be repetitive with some good things continue to happen. But the attacking mood and nature of Michigan, I think between the two of us, might have seen 12 games here or there. I've never seen this Michigan play. I don't care who they're playing. They're attacking a very good Indiana team.
Okay, so now that almost begs the question. Aberration, you can get up a certain night, or can a team evolve into that type of personality in the latter stages of the season?
You didn't want any UConn stories, but 2011 we win the Maui.
I love UConn stories.
Yes, we win the Maui. You know, beat a terrific Wichita team, beat a very good Michigan State team, and then Kentucky. We had a good season, but remember, 11 teams from the Big East would go to the tournament. We end up as a 500 team in our league, and by the end of the season, we got healthy. And then we won 11 in a row. Big East championship, 5 games, 5 days, and then 6 games to win a national championship. We got better at the end of the season.
Okay, do you see similar characteristics maybe?
If this Michigan team, and the reason John's coaching, the kids getting together, whatever it may be, okay, whatever it may be, and I don't really care, and John doesn't really care, as long as they're doing it. If this is the attitude they're going to take the rest of the way, this team's going to play in the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's not hard. I know they have good competition. I know they have to play some good folks, but I'm not getting on a one-game thing. I'm getting how they're playing. They're not going to play like this every night, but they're not going to be leading by 20-something points every night either.
Walton with a strong bucket. He's got 19. Indiana's going to get its opportunity for payback on February 12th when Michigan will come to Bloomington. Wilson flying, gets a little shove from Newkirk.
Yeah, that one you see, you don't like on the knee. He's fine, I'm sure. Just got tripped a little bit, and guys have been hitting basketball before. Remember, it's a contact sport, not a collision sport like football, but it is a contact sport.
As Wilson going to the free throw line, he's a guy that's really improved. Indiana has been, I don't know if there's been a performance quite like this, particularly defensively, but they've got, I mean, who has two better wins than their wins against Kansas and North Carolina? So they've also lost to Fort Wayne. They turned in this one tonight. Nebraska's
a good team.
They're a good team. The reason we're saying it's notable is a home loss, which is something,
correct,
you know, that team of Indiana's a game you'd like to win.
And you're a top 20 team.
Right.
That's the other thing, too.
Right.
They were top 20 at the time.
Yeah. It's a 30-point lead
and
for
you and
the
I
Wolverines.
both are watching. We think a good Indiana team being handled from the open get-go physically by a team that they come in and thought that was their advantage.
Devontae Green kicks it back out. Johnson's going to fire. Walton pulls away the rebound. What do you think about Walton and Zach Irvin, these senior guards for John Beilein?
Well, you made a great point, Brian. Are they going to get better? I mean, I can't predict the world of basketball who's going to get better or not. But this Michigan team, we both are saying, is different than the Michigan team we've seen before. You add that to the great skill, the three-point shooting, the foul shot, don't turn the ball over, you got a heck of a team.
Irvin from the corner. He could use one of those to go in. He's scuffled a little bit from behind the arc in three-point shooting about 25% in conference play. It's not to diminish his other contributions. He's their leading scorer on the season, averaging a little more than 14 per night. It has 9 tonight. For Walton and Irvin during their Michigan careers, Irvin going to try it again. There's one to go in.
You asked it to it, did, just like you asked me.
They were shot
on demand.
As freshmen, those two guys were shot away from making it to the Final Four.
That's true, yeah,
and then, Beilein pointed out that also in their careers, in a span of less than a week, they lost games to New Jersey Institute of Technology in Eastern Michigan.
I remember that.
Snuck into the tournament last year, and then this year, at the moment, sitting on Joe Lunardi's bubble among the last 4 teams in. This certainly will help the resume.
Well, it's going to help the resume. I mean, it is a home, not quite as much. And Indiana is a little bit injured.
Yeah.
But Indiana, we have thought, was an NCAA tournament team as of now because of the great wins they had early.
No, I don't think at the moment they're sitting there. Joe has him projected as a 7 seed. And I know it's awfully early to start talking about that, but hey, we've turned the corner to the midway point of the season, and Walton goes all the way to the bucket again, and he's over 20. The 5th time of the season that Walton has scored more than 20 points. He's got 21, 9th career game of 20 or more. Is now the only drama in this is Michigan going to get to triple digits.
You're 100% right. And the good thing that I see what Tom's doing, which I expect him to do, he's still coaching. He's trying to get something out of this game. That, by the way, is what he should be getting, stopping that penetration. Great defense. I love this.
I think I might have the answer to this. Maybe it's those pink shoes that Michigan's wearing tonight from the Coaches versus Cancer. The pink has agreed with them. 86-51 Wolverines. Best they've ever shot in a conference game is 66.7, so we'll see if we can finish there. And the other thing, Michigan hasn't scored 100 points yet this year. We'll find out if Wolverines can do that. And John Beilein has cleared out his bench, and he'll try to finish it up here.
And by the way, who is Tom Crean going with? Starting team.
Now, what was your philosophy with them? You're getting blown out. What do you like to do?
They didn't just outshoot us. They outworked us early tonight. They set the tone. That can't happen again. I want you to go in the next 3 minutes and let's get something out of it. And then you have a lot more things to say in the privacy of the locker room.
Shot from the corner is no good, and Michigan will get a fresh 30 as we go inside. 3 minutes to go. Now, From Tom Crean's standpoint, you have a game like this completely got away from you. How do you handle it? Do you flush it? Do you flip out on them?
I'd have to know the mood of his kids. With injuries, may have, obviously it's hurt them, we think. Without question, it's hurt them. And then we kind of really want to know, okay, what I think they react to. Yeah, and honestly, he told me he was on Bryant, who won the game for him last time. Yet he said he didn't play well, and that's fine. These are delicate, because you're right. I don't want to take one or two kids and blame them for this loss. This, I can guarantee you, was a team loss, and he'll say that. So I think, Reese, the important thing is, how do you want to handle it as a coach? I keep saying you can't show up the same every day, and so his approach will be very interesting.
Ibby Watson's going to shoot the free throws, and as he does, we'll remind you that our NBA Friday matchup on ESPN has a leading MVP candidate, James Harden, in the Rockets, taking on the quickly improving Philadelphia 76ers as 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Coverage starts. NBA Countdown, charged by Mountain Dew. That's all streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN as well.
But this has been, I'm sure, the best performance by Michigan all year. I don't care who they played, who they beat. And it's been a complete performance, because I think it showed another side of a very good team that handles the ball exceptionally well, that passes the ball exceptionally well, that really shoots it very well, but needs some more physicality, more aggressiveness. They've had that tonight.
I didn't see this one coming. Michigan is a slight favorite in the game. And for some reason, that brings to mind our good friend Brett Musburger, who announced earlier this week that his final game will be the Georgia-Kentucky game on January 31st. Boy, tell you what, all the games over the years that Brent has called in this conference and all across the country, remarkable energy he brought to a game every night. We wish Brent the best. I know Brent's going to enjoy himself no matter where he is.
Yeah, we don't worry about that. The enjoying part we don't worry about. The biggest thing, I think, for all of us, years ago you'd watch Johnny Carson, you watch whoever was on TV, and it became a friend that you, a company friend. And Brent, with his knowledge, his humor, I think we all felt the same way. When he did the game, Brent's doing the game. And I truly believe that. And then when you get a chance, and I have nowhere near as much as you, but a chance to meet him, through ESPN, but before that, as a coach, he's a terrific guy, and he's funny, he's humorous, he's bright, and I do love to hear him do games. He's terrific. I mean, he's one of the best. That as soon as Kirk Jackson. I mean, I Keith Jackson. Excuse me. I can hear the voice. I don't even say the name right, but I can hear the voice. Brent Musburger with those little quips. I mean, he's terrific, and you're getting a great broadcast.
Always just felt big. Very early, Jim, in my career at ESPN, I was working as a studio host for the NBA on ESPN Radio for the finals, a great 1997 finals between the Bulls and the Jazz, and Brent was the play-by-play guy, and I'd never met him before, and he was so welcoming and accommodating, and it was just a thrill for me getting started at ESPN to have a chance to work on an event like that with Brent, and he just always welcomed everybody in, and it's been great fun to get to know Brent and work with him over the years, and sorry to see him go, but wish him well.
I wish him well too, and he's had a great career to look back upon. Everybody he's touched in many ways through broadcasting, through sport, he's left an impression upon.
No question.
I mean, there isn't a guy who's asking tough questions that you're not liking. You're like Brent Musburger, and that's the best thing I can say about him. And I had comfort, and I mean this honestly, when he did a broadcast, that I was getting kind of the truth of what he was seeing right there.
Grant Galen hasn't got a chance to play a lot this year. 6'5" freshman, knocks in a triple for the Hoosiers. John Lonergan has it for the Wolverines. And a big 7-footer, Teskey's in there fighting for it, and it rolled out. His teammates really pulling from John to get a bucket here in Big Ten play.
Look at Tom Crean. Calling the play, coaching him up. And that's what he should be doing. That's what he is doing.
It's important that guys are getting a chance to play, and you got to let them know they're part of it too, right?
You know what I might say? I didn't stop coaching. Did you stop playing? And that's why I got you out there. No, I mean, not that I think of those things, but I would all night. And if I thought they're really good, I'd write them down
Well, I can guarantee you this won't be 90-56 on Saturday night. Kansas and Kentucky, 6:15 Eastern time. Two winningest programs in the history of the sport. Self and Calipari, the veteran backcourt of the Jayhawks, the youngsters from Kentucky. Carlton Bragg been suspended. News breaking tonight from Kansas. They won't have him. Kentucky will have Malik Monk, who's an explosive offensive player, and Bam Adebayo, who is he is chiseled the way you want an interior player to look in basketball. And
but don't you see that more and more with kids?
Yeah.
You know, years ago, guys didn't hit weights as much, basketball players. Now every kid looks like they should be the outside linebacker, not for the Patriots, but for some other team. No. But my point being is it's amazing.
Well, they used to say that weightlifting would make you too stiff and mess up your shot, when in essence, or what people have learned now is that being strong actually enhances your flexibility.
Well, tonight you didn't have a great game, but when Bryant took it to the hole, he took two people to the hole, the ball and the guy defending him. And my point being is, you and I talked about this before. You go to an NBA game, and you can see the size of the guys. It's amazing, the physicality.
This one's been out of hand for a while. You got 38 seconds. You got a recipe you want to give, or anything else you want to get in before we go?
Anybody near the locker room might cover the ears. And John's going to be John. But I think, no question, John's going to make sure he takes the right things, how they started, and by the way, how they finished.
About a second differential shot clock in game 5. So
I'll guarantee you, the moment that Tom Crean finishes this press conference, whatever it may be at the end, he is going to be, and he is now, thinking, where do we go from here? How do I get, what do we do now?
Oh, they'll be glad to get on the bus and get out as soon as the final 1.7 goes. Michigan shot 63.3%, best field goal percentage in a Big Ten game since 2006. And
didn't it at times look like it could be what they wanted?
Yeah. And I don't know what Beeline expected, but I'm guessing that he didn't expect a 30-point beatdown of the Hoosiers as Michigan gets back to 500 in Big Ten play and knocks Indiana down to 4-4 in Big Ten play as well. Mo Wagner got the Wolverines off to a terrific start. Zach Irvin and company kept it going in a 90-60 win for Michigan. Impressive performance by the Wolverines. For Jim Calhoun and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Reese Davis. Now we're sending it back to the studio on the heels of a 30-point Michigan win.